Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you a game 1 in a series between Fantafiction versus Fly. Game 1 taking place here on Twisted Meadows. We see Fly spawning here as the purple orc player at what I'll call the 8 o'clock position, 7 o'clock position. Wow, still getting a little bit of a cold there. Fantafiction spawning as the red undead here at the 5 o'clock position. This is going to be Orc versus Undead here on Twisted Meadows as things are getting underway. I am expecting to see a Death Knight versus a Blade Master. Now, based upon the spawning locations here, I'm really interested to see what type of gameplay these players will be playing. They are not full cross spawns, so they are going to be engaging each other or possibly engaging each other a little bit earlier than normal. Fantafiction will most likely be building up his wall so that the Blade Master cannot easily get inside. What you're seeing here is with the Ultra of Darkness and the Ziggurat is that the Blade Master is going to have a very difficult time getting past these buildings. These buildings have what I call hard sides on them, meaning that if there's two buildings with two hard sides, no units can actually slip through here. You end up having to have a soft side if you want an even one size unit like an Acolyte. I believe Acolytes can slip in along this side here, but we'll see what's going to be happening with that. The problem for Orc players in general is that all of their units are rather large. Aside from peons and maybe headhunters, I don't think anything can really slip through here. So even if the Blade Master has the Staff of Teleportation, it won't be able to get behind this wall. It is going to be a Death Knight versus a Blade Master, as we still don't see a Voodoo Lounge as of yet. Are we going to perhaps see the Grunt and the Blade Master make their way out and try to do a little bit of creeping first, or are we going to actually go into a bit of harassment? That is going to be the question there, as the Blade Master now heads off to the north, perhaps going to wind walk, purchase a Circlet of Nobility while selling that Scroll of Town Portal. Meanwhile, let's come back and take a look at what the Death Knight's doing. Death Knight picking up Dust of Appearance and Errata Necromancy. No surprise there, as that is the standard items. As the Blade Master now heading around the far side in order to go after the Null Warden. Null Warden taking a little bit of a beating already. Blade Master going to finish this Null Warden here. Voodoo Lounge now being set up as the Death Knight is wandering around. Does have some skeletal minions, so will be able to do a little bit of creeping. Now, interesting pattern on both of these sides. Both of these players are actually creeping in opposite directions because they don't want to engage against their opponent. You can see that the Death Knight is going to come over here, perhaps pick up another skeletal minion, and then now try and clear up this orange creep camp. The Blade Master has picked up double Circlets of Nobility already. Very, very nice. Extra mana, extra damage, extra armor, extra hit points, everything that makes that Blade Master oh so good. Now, the question is going to be, what is this Death Knight going to do? He has 3 skeletal minions, and he needs to really, really use this time life very wisely. Fantafiction not going after this creep camp as I initially expected, as the Blade Master now has a definitive lead in terms of creeping. Alright, going after the Null Warden here. The Null Warden will fall. Null Overseer is all that is left, as the Death Knight now coming over with a whole bunch of ghouls, and we are looking at Fantafiction trying to go for a fast expansion attempt. This is not what I expected at all. You can see a whole bunch of ghouls here, so the Death Knight had this plan going in early. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and now by executing this game plan, if he can set up this expansion and keep it up and operational for quite some time, he may get away with the extra base. The fact that, oh no, what is this? The Grunt is actually going to find this, and the Grunt finds this. He sees the Necropolis. The Grunt now trying to head back, and the Grunt may in fact have been able to spot the Necropolis before the Grunt was seen by any of these other units. That is a very, very big deal, as the Blade Master may now be maybe heading over. All right, there you go. One Grunt, or one Ghoul may get taken down. No, already taking a little bit of damage there. Are we going to see another surround? It looks like that Ghoul will get taken down here. Skeletal Minion right behind the Blade Master should just get taken down. Not quite sure why, as the Death Knight now trying to run all the way back. Skeletal Minion now taken down here. You can see off to the north, the Necropolis is right there. and the Blade Master decided not to go after it. All right, there goes an Acolyte, that extra Acolyte. As you see the Dust of Appearance, that Blade Master does get slowed, but is able to now run back. What is the opportunity? What are we going to be seeing here as Stronghold is nearly completed? Fly needs to stop this expansion, or he needs to cut this game short so that his opponent cannot run away with the economic lead. You can see a Graveyard and a Halls of the Dead now coming into play momentarily, as Fantafiction has a relatively small army, 28 over 30 compared to 34 over 40, as the Blade Master now already at level 3. This is going to be a very, very difficult fight for Fantafiction. He needs to really set up a lot of towers and hope that Goblin Sappers do not make their way inside his base at all. There's the Necropolis, and we need to see a Ziggurat or two come in here. All right, that Necropolis is actually very, very far off to the north. I guess it doesn't really matter how close your Necropolis is to that gold mine, but you do want it, at least for blight purposes. Maybe perhaps another Ziggurat being established down over here should be enough. All right, ghouls are now running back. The problem with the ghouls, though, is that they are relatively low on hit points, and a critical striking Blade Master should be able to finish it off. Tauren Chieftain now being brought in, perhaps for Stomp or Endurance Aura. That does open up the damage on the Blade Master significantly, as the ghouls are not going to be able to surround all that easily. All right, let's take a look at this. Acolyte still not being trained. Not quite sure what Fantafiction is doing. He has that Necropolis off to the north. He's invested a lot of gold there, but he is not taking the time to follow up. This is a big concern if he does not get that expansion operational. Even if the game does end up going long, he's going to find himself very far behind. Death Knight, with Boots of Speed, able to run away from that Blade Master rather easily, as the Blade Master is still trying to catch up. Blade Master has very good damage, and the Blade Master now going to perhaps check out this expansion location and see that nothing is really going on. All right, Blade Master checks down here, checks the gold mine, sees that there is nothing really being harvested at all, as the Tauren Chieftain with Endurance Aura trying to take down a handful of creep camps here. All right, low hit point Grunt deciding to back off. Let's take a look. Ogre Magi may get taken down here in just a moment. There it goes. Tauren Chieftain now sitting at level 2. He is tanking a lot of damage, and this is actually working out extremely well for him, as the Ogre Warriors will fall. Tauren Chieftain is at 2 already. Meanwhile, Blade Master is attempting to take down a Slaughterhouse, and the Blade Master will be able to slip away, doesn't even need to wind walk, as the Lich is now out on the field. There is a Shade keeping track of everything. Death Knight now wandering around here. Are we going to perhaps see a Frost Nova anywhere? Oh, Frost Armor onto the Lich, making sure to protect itself from that Blade Master, but the Lich is already ensnared here. That's going to be very bad news. There's a Stomp, and a huge amount of damage. All right, Death Coil onto the Lich. Lich does stay alive ever so barely, as the Death Knight and the Lich are protecting each other with Death Coils and Frost Armors. Death Knight does move strangely fast with the Unholy Aura. He did end up giving the Boots of Speed to the Lich, though, as we now see in another engagement here. Blade Master damage potential really falling. As you can see, he does attack only fast right now instead of very fast. You can see that attack is a little bit slower than you would expect, as the Blade Master dealing significantly less damage. All right, do we see the Shade nearby? That is the big question here. Blade Master down to 240 some odd hit points and will be able to back off again. All right, there are some Wind Riders coming in. I don't see... Oh, we do have Crypt Fiends. We are going into Obsidian Statues, as the Blade Master still wandering around over here. This Necropolis still not being taken care of anytime soon. Wind Rider is nearby, but the Death Knight, without an Orb of Corruption, will not be able to attack it, and I think he really needs to consider his options at this point. The Death Knight doesn't want to engage. Meanwhile, there is a whole bunch of Wind Riders here. This could be extremely bad news, as the Blade Master has taken a fair bit of damage. All right, Death Coil onto a Grunt. The Grunt falls, as the Lich finally gets on the board with some just minuscule amount of experience, as a beautiful attack there. Oh, Scroll of Town Portal may need to be used. Oh, does not use the Scroll of Town Portal in time. The Stomp was just enough, and I believe that could be the GG, as the Lich now is pretty much so weak. That Stomp, huge pain, huge dividends. And what was looking like a very long game ended up to be cutting very short as Fantafiction gives up to Fly. Fly taking game 1 in this series rather easily. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.